Andre, welcome to the cave. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
And exciting times, man. We're a few days away from your recent project, The Night Agent on Netflix. We recently saw you on Scream 6. You've been busy.
Been busy, yeah, yeah. It's just one of those things, like because you never really know when everything's going to come out, and it just kind of happened that these two projects came out within a few weeks of each other. So, yeah, it's exciting time for sure.
That's awesome. We're gonna jump into those projects in a few minutes, but I want to get to a little bit more about Andre. I saw the Lebanese Canadian, born in Canada, Vancouver.
Yes, born in Canada. Yeah, born in Vancouver, Canada. Yeah, my dad's Lebanese. He was born in Beirut. So yeah, half Lebanese. Tried to learn a little bit of Arabic growing up, but just the bare minimum.
Mm. So growing up, what made you decide to get to the industry? Because when I was doing some research on you, I saw that you were like all over the place with sports and everything, and all of a sudden you took a round turn. I saw that your mom was a little bit in the entertainment
Yeah,
industry
yeah.
also.
So yeah, you know what? My mom when I was a kid, she was auditioning for commercials and things like that, and I kind of expressed interest in pursuing that a little bit. It just looked like fun what she was doing, and she kind of was like, I'm not really sure if I want to get you into this industry as a child. So I spent most of my time growing up playing sports, tennis, basketball, soccer, and then yeah, essentially she was like, when you're old enough, if this is still what you want to do, then I won't stop you. So yeah, towards the end of high school, I did a one act play, and I was hooked.
Mm. So it was always there. The acting bug was always there, no matter what your mom said to you.
Definitely, yeah. I was always thinking about it. It was always in the back of my head, and it was just one of those things where I was like, I was interested in such at such a young age that I always was like, at least I have to give it a shot. So,
Mm.
yeah.
How old were you when you kind of had an idea? Like, were you watching something in your favorite movies or TV shows growing up?
You know what? It was mostly just like the thought of it. I just thought, just seeing my mom kind of audition, it just seemed like an exciting industry. You never kind of know what the next day was going to bring, but it seemed like the people that were involved were genuinely interested in the arts, and it was something that they couldn't really live without. So I was always curious about it. I didn't know
Yeah.
exactly, obviously, what the business was like, but it was always in the back of my head for sure.
Mm. What was it at first though? Did you like wanted to try to like follow your mom's steps with commercials and everything, or did you want right away TV and film?
You know what? I think, growing up, yeah, I watched a lot of TV and film. The theater was always an interesting thing to me because
Mm.
I knew that it was kind of a bit of a different world in terms of, how actors go about, their business, and doing stage is it's a live show. You can't do another take, and
Right.
that the live performance aspect of that. So that was definitely interesting, and I think that's also why I pursued theater in university as well.
Mhm. What do you enjoy more now, theater still or TV and movies?
You know what? They're very different. I always think that the stage and theater is kind of the best workout for an actor.
Mm.
Um, because once you're up there, you're really in it for 2 hours, 3 hours, however long a play might be, and it gives you the opportunity to kind of get into a rhythm where film and television, it's kind of a different skill set. We're resetting, doing a take over and over again. So they're different skills. I definitely love working in TV and film. But yeah, the theater I think is an excellent workout for an actor.
Mm. What makes you stress out more, think about it more, theater or TV film?
Oh man, theater for sure. Yeah. There's been a lot of moments, especially at the beginning when I was in theater school doing my first couple of plays. It was like, just looking at the script and going like, okay, so if I forget a line, then what do we
Right.
do? We just got to keep going. So it really teaches you a lot in that sense to kind of overcome your nerves, but you definitely spend a lot of time at the beginning, I think, thinking about maybe what could go wrong. But
Mm.
yeah, you just kind of learn to roll with the punches.
Yeah. I've had other guests on where they've done both theater and TV and film, and when they're doing the theater part, they're always telling me like, yeah, you forget a line, at least maybe like your other cast member can help you or pick you right up. So
Oh, absolutely.
the audience doesn't remember, doesn't see it right away.
It's so true. I've had that before when I was in university doing one of my first plays, and I just kind of blanked up on one of the lines,
Mhm.
and I think my scene partner could kind of see that that's what was happening,
Yeah.
and we kind of skipped a little bit, like a few lines, and she kind of helped me get back into the scene. So
Mm.
yeah, it's definitely, I think, because you rehearse so much that everybody kind of knows where we're supposed to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good to have scene partners that have your back. That's for sure.
So what's Andre's goal? You've done TV, you've done theater, you've done film. What's another thing you want to hit in the industry?
I mean, I think at this point, I just want to continue to work on stuff that I believe in. I
Mm.
love I love to explore obviously different stories in whatever medium it may be, film, TV, um, theater maybe at some point I'd like to get back to. But yeah, I think it's just so interesting now, the industry. There's so much content out there. There's so many
Really?
different stories being told that and they're coming in all different mediums, limited series, episodic, features, all that kind of stuff. So I think it's a cool time to be open to so many different stories and just, yeah, see what the next opportunity brings.
Mm. You mentioned the word content. What's Andre binging these days? What do you enjoy watching?
Ooh. I just finished Last of Us um, on HBO. I think me along with many other people. Um, House of Dragon, I really love. White Lotus for sure. I watched Severance. I actually just finished
Mm.
Severance, which I was a huge fan of. I think Ben Stiller is doing an amazing job as a director, and I can't wait to see what he does next. But yeah, those are some of the shows that I've been watching. Fleischman is in Trouble is another great one I
Mm.
watched with Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah.
The Bear on Hulu. A lot of good stuff
A
going
lot of
on
good
for
stuff out
sure.
there. I just finished You.
Yeah.
Did you watch You?
Okay, okay. I haven't gotten to the fourth season yet, but
Okay,
I've heard there's a lot of twists and turns in that one.
that's right. So you've
Yeah.
also worked on some cool projects also. Like, what do you think's been your favorite so far? As I wrote down here, you've done like a role on Riverdale, Charmed, Supergirl. One of Us is Lion. Like what's been like your favorite one that you've worked on, you think?
You know what? I would say honestly, these two that are coming out right now, I think
Mm.
they I've enjoyed the most. I think just Scream as a franchise was a super cool thing to be a part of because it has so much history and this built-in fan base that really cares about the story and their characters. And then Night Agent was, probably the biggest thing I've done so far. And yeah, I got to explore a lot of things that I hadn't done before with stunts and firearms training and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm pretty excited for these two for sure.
Let's jump right into the Night Agent. The trailers have been insane, and a lot of like action and everything. And you play the role as Mateo. How were your approach for this? Tell us about your audition for this role.
Yeah, so it's funny actually. I was in New York at the time with my brother, and my agent sent over an audition for the show, and I taped it with my brother. He was in my hotel room, and about a few weeks later, found out that they wanted to offer me the part of Mateo. Um, and yeah, from there was in Vancouver for about 4 months, 5 months that the whole show was filming, and yeah, it was an amazing process from start to finish, but
Mm.
a lot of fun for sure.
How do you describe this show to people that you're about to be on?
Ooh. I would describe it as it's a political thriller with
Yeah.
lots of secrets, lots of twists and turns, and a lot of action. Some really great action in the show. The stunt team was phenomenal, and yeah, it's really exciting. A lot of people have said like, "Oh, I really love these kind of White
Yeah.
House CIA secrets kind of stories." So yeah, what you see in the trailer is a great indication of what's going to happen in this season for sure.
Mm. What was the description you were given for Mateo?
Mateo is so he's essentially he's someone that has been done wrong by some people in the government, and he's looking for revenge.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, that's I think about as much as I can say without
Right,
trying
right.
to, yeah, get into too many spoilers for sure.
Spoilers. How did you approach like developing this character? Like, did you have any input on him? Ideas flowing around?
Yeah, totally. It's Sean Ryan, the showrunner. He's he was really great in the sense that he was always available to talk about character.
Mm.
Yeah, so essentially, I would just start by reading all the scripts and trying to understand what kind of guy he is. And then from there, you're working with a few different directors throughout the season. So you kind of will check in with all of them and touch base and see if you can maybe try certain things or go back on what you did in earlier episodes and yeah, it's just a really healthy creative discussion with all the people that created the show and trying different things to bring the character to life.
Mm. What did you love about Mateo?
Ooh, what I love about Mateo, he's very mysterious. That was an interesting thing to play. You don't quite know too much about him, but it was just an interesting acting exercise because there's a lot of kind of things going on in his head that maybe is unspoken.
Yeah,
So trying to portray that kind of behavior and trying to get into his mind a little bit when he's not speaking, that
yeah.
was a great exercise for sure.
You mentioned like stunts and everything. You were able to do some of your own stuff on there.
Yeah, yeah, that was super fun. It was the first time that I really did like combat and worked with firearms and stuff.
Yeah,
But the stunt team was so great. They were always willing to work around, what I felt like I could do, what I felt like I couldn't do. But they really trained me because I wanted to do as much as I possibly could, in the safest way possible, obviously. But yeah, there was a lot of fight stuff that myself and the rest of the team kind of choreographed, which was very helpful and yeah, it was exciting to work on. And I think it definitely makes a big difference for sure.
now, were you asked if you want to do your own stunts? Because, like I said, I've had guests on where they're like they want to do the stunts, but they're not. They don't let them, and vice versa.
Right, right. There's certain things that were like too dangerous, obviously, that I couldn't do, and you
Yeah,
leave it up to the professionals to do. But some of the combat stuff was more of a thing of the stunt team saying, we think you can do this if you're up for it, and
yeah,
those were the kinds of things that I really did want to do because it was something that I could actually learn skill wise, in terms of combat and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's just you sit on a few more meetings about the choreography and that kind of stuff,
yeah.
and if it's something that I can learn and they're happy to help me with, then I'm always down for that.
Mm. So, in other words, you'll never say no if you get offered to do the stunt.
I guess it depends. It depends
Depends what
what
it
kind of
is.
stuff it is. But yeah, I'm always interested to see like how far we can go.
Yeah.
But obviously safety first for sure.
Mm. What are you hoping the viewers are going to take away from watching this series?
Ooh, I think I'm hoping that what's great about the show is that every episode kind of leaves you wanting more.
Yeah.
Um, and it's a really fun show in the sense that there's obviously a lot of action. There's a lot of secrets, um, but it really keeps you engaged with the action. There's a lot of cool car chases, like I said, a lot of combat and that kind of stuff. But it also kind of is like a who done it in a way. You're kind of trying to find out who's who.
Right.
Um, so I think that's something that will keep audiences curious till the end of the season.
How,
So
how
I'm
many
excited for that.
how many episodes are we expecting? The usual like 10, like Netflix does.
Yeah, so it's going to be 10 episodes, and they should all be coming out on March 23rd.
Mm.
So,
Now, has there been ideas or anything for a possible second season, or is this meant for just for a one season?
you know what? I haven't heard too much about a potential second season. I'm not quite sure if they've got plans for that quite yet.
Yeah.
I think right now they're just hoping to see, how audiences will react to this first
Mm.
one to just get that out there, and then I'm certain that they'll go from there.
Amazing. And that will be on Netflix. Really quick, I know you can't tell us much, but Scream 6, you're a part of that. How did it feel to become part of, like, you pretty much, your name will be cemented in the Scream franchises, no matter how big or how small your role was?
Totally, yeah. It's like I said earlier, it's just such a historic franchise,
Mm.
and it was such a welcoming environment. I was a little bit nervous, obviously, showing up to that set. There's a lot of people that had come back from Scream 5, so they all kind of knew each other. So,
Yeah.
yeah, you feel like a little bit like you're treading a bit lightly, trying to please everybody, but Matt and Tyler, the directors, they just welcomed me with open arms, and they were just such a pleasure to work with, and they were kind of open to collaborating. And yeah, it was great to spend time with them and kind of see what they're doing with the new generation of Scream. And I think they did an amazing job of being conscious of the history of the Screams that came before the sixth installment here, and bringing something fresh to it as well.
What's one thing you're gonna remember about being part of this?
Oh man. I think just like the fan base, man.
Mm.
It's
Yeah.
they're super passionate about the franchise, and it's just so funny to see kind of all the theories that they all have about who the killer could be,
Yeah.
or who this character might be. But yeah, I think it's the first time that I've been a part of something so historic, and it's really cool to be a part of it for sure.
Mm. There's already rumors that the next movie's getting filmed in September.
You know
It's
what?
crazy. It's crazy.
I don't know anything about that. Um, um, I guess we'll see. I think I know that Matt and Tyler kind of wanted to take a little bit of a deep breath after this one came out, and
Yeah.
I'm sure that they're going to come up with something special if they're the ones that do the next one.
Mm. Now, what's next for you now? Any other projects you're allowed to tell us about that you got coming out?
Yeah, obviously Scream 6 is in theaters now. And then just finished working on a movie with MTV. It's kind of like a horror comedy that's starring Lonnie Love, the comedian, and that will come out I think at some time later this year. So,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Andre, how can the listeners and the viewers find you on social media?
My social media, most of my social media handles are Andre Anthony C. So yeah, you can find me on socials under that username.
That's awesome. Andre, I want to thank you for giving me a few minutes today. This was great. And let's get you back on for future projects.
Absolutely, looking forward to it.